want to buy a field to live in and build yourself your own house like I have, but you're not quite sure where to start with it all. So step one then, you're looking for the land, get yourself on the internet, get on one of these platforms like onthemarket.com that's going to display the properties available in your area, sub-select the rough area you want to be in, then you click on the farms land only section, which quite a few of them have now. I mentioned it in other videos, but majority of estate agents now, even if they're really rural ones, are going to list the properties on these platforms because they know that's where they're going to get the most interaction, the most people viewing them, the most people wanting potentially to buy it. A second option, which is the way to get the really good deals basically, is use Google Maps, use satellite imagery to identify a piece of land in the area you want to be in that looks unfarmed, shall we say. You're looking for a piece of land that on the map is a different colour to everything else, all the other fields around it, and that will indicate that someone hasn't cropped it, hasn't ploughed it, and it's just left it basically. Find a patch that's quite a dark brown, that's a good indication that sort of brambles and thickets have taken over, so that's definitely unused land then. Second step, get yourself on the land registry, identify that same field on the map, drop the pin, which will give you all the details for it, but you'll have to pay £3 a time for each one of those details, whether you want the map or the person who owns its information. And obviously you've got to contact them and see if they are willing to sell the land and then negotiate a price if they are. Sometimes though this is going to be hit and miss because you're going to be contacting people that aren't interested in selling the land, they're just holding on to it and they don't want to do anything with it at that point in time. What should you be looking for when you come to purchase a piece of land? What should the land have already? Well, for most people, they'd love to buy a house already done, a few barns, plenty of acreage for animals, etc. But that's going to be very expensive. So most people are going to want to do it like this, where you buy a field, build all your own stuff. You're basically going to be looking for a few sort of things already on the land if you're coming to get a piece of raw land. And you're primarily going to want to have at least some trees, because I guarantee as soon as you start doing stuff from the outside, you're going to be thinking about a log burner. You're going to be thinking about powering yourself off the material you can produce on site. Real high up on the importance list is having access to it as well. Believe it or not, a lot of pieces of land are landlocked, they call it. So basically you can't access it unless you're going across someone else's land. Ideally you want a piece of road frontage, or at least a solid right of way on the deeds. And realistically you're going to want to have a water source on the land, because if you're on a hillside that doesn't have any springs or anything like that, you're going to really struggle to actually produce yourself a well. So you ideally want to have an identified spring on the land before you purchase it, or have a river nearby, because that way you can definitely build a well. If you've got a river nearby, you just come X amount of metres away from the river, sink your well, job done. Now this is a sort of an ideal world one. You would want your property south facing, because that way you're going to be able to make the maximum from all the sunlight. For me, I'm in a rolling hills area and I'm just on the north side of a hill, but I managed to get full sun because there's no mountainous region in front of me blocking any light. The worst I've got is a bit of woods over there that blocks some light on the house and stuff, but also on here and on the livestock house down the bottom, which are in complete sunlight all day long. And again, on this power front, looking for a piece of land that's got a steady stream on it, or is on a hillside that gets prevailing winds, you're going to be able to provide yourself opportunities to power yourself for free after you've paid for the infrastructure, obviously. Hydropower is your best bet, so if you can get a small little valley with a stream on it or something, you're pretty much good to go for power then. Or, like I say, make sure you're in a bit of a valley that's on the prevailing wind side so you can get wind turbines too. Now, if you're planning on doing it in a similar fashion to me, and starting the small farm, because you want to have animals and you just want to live in the countryside, work in the countryside, then you're probably going to want to pick a piece of land that has got a good amount of grassland with it, as well as the woods. There's a fair few ventures you can run in woodland, animal-wise, to produce money, but more than likely you're going to do better having grassland, because all the equipment that's mostly available, ready to go, is all designed for farming animals on grass. Stuff like pigs and chickens you can get away with, although a lot of people seem to think that chickens do really well in woods. But I'll just tell you right now, I've tried it before and it's much harder to actually get them to lay in the house, in the nest boxes if they're in woods, because they will find places all over their run where they can lay eggs in nice comfort, and they'll just do that rather than going back inside. And again, pigs is an alright thing to do in woods, but you have to have cleared paths. So if you've got an overgrown woodland, you're not really standing much chance. You need to clear paths to put electric fencing in, otherwise you're going to have pigs absolutely everywhere, and they are escape artists, as I'm sure many a person who's had pigs watching this video will be able to tell you the same. Put a fence in, they'll find a way through it. It's the same deal if you're trying to be a bit self-sufficient with your actual vegetable foods and etc. You're going to be able to grow foods in woods, but you're going to have to clear areas to be able to get enough sunlight to be able to grow what you need. Whereas if you've got even just a small half acre of grass, it's going to be more than enough to be able to produce more, like maybe 10 ton of food a year just in veg for a very small plot. So something that I think about is sort of the long-term value of the land. All this for me is something to be left behind for my kids and their kids, etc. So I'm always thinking increasing the value of the asset long-term for them, which woodland compared to grassland, it seems to be so far that grassland or agricultural land, the value of that goes up at the minute, whereas woodland is creeping up but not at the same sort of value. It is still going up, but not to the same extent as arable or grassland, again because of the usage of it. A lot of that pick and choosing is all budget dependent, isn't it really? Let's face it, if you've got 100 grand to spend, you're going to be able to pick and choose between a hell of a lot of better pieces of land than someone that's only got, say, 5 to 10,000 to spend. So yeah, I guess I'll do a basic plan for anyone that's still watching, because they're really interested in this, of what I would do if I had to start again and I had a budget of, say, the 25 to 35 grand that I could get from personal loans, which the majority of people can get straight away unless you've got really bad credit or a lot of debt already. Basically, you're going to want to tuck 5 grand at least straight away to the side for solicitors' fees and things like that. Basically, you're going to want to spend all your money on the biggest piece of land you possibly can and worry about building things afterwards, because you can always get credit cards, you can always do other things, you can always build things as you earn the money, like I have. Then once I've got the land, I would move a small caravan, nothing obnoxious, onto the land straight away and put up a little tiny shed, maybe a 6 foot by 10 foot shed, nothing special. And if you've got a couple of horses or something like that, you're putting on there straight away, do that. Build a tiny small field shelter, just a 1 horse field shelter, don't be going crazy straight away. Then next I would put in screening of some sort, budget dependent thing, but I would put in some sort of raised earth bank around your perimeter area if you can. For me, I've actually done that on this one side already. That's because I've dug a small pond down the bottom there. It was just the spoil from that, so it was sort of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And then if you haven't sort of got money for a digger, get yourself some little tiny conifers if you can, or if you've got a bit more cash, get some 3-4 foot ones, put them in around your perimeter of where you're thinking you're going to be wanting to do things that people might not like. And then once sort of got your basic infrastructure in like that, small power system, ideally solar, battery, generator is what you'd need, or small hydro turbine, or a couple of little wind turbines as well. And then once you've got a small power system, basically the comforts and ease of doing all sorts of stuff on your piece of land will become a hell of a lot easier, because you'll have regular power to use normal tools, normal machinery like cookers, fridges, freezers, all that sort of stuff. And that's a highly budget dependent thing though. If you haven't got much money at all to spend, you're probably only going to be charging phones, stuff like that, which a solar system for that is probably 200 quid now. Then yeah, running gas bottles for cooking, or a small generator if you want to do power tools. Once you've got your sort of basic comfort set up, I would start doing things with animals. So initially, if there's not already a hell of a lot of people around the area selling fresh eggs, sell fresh eggs, sell them on Facebook Marketplace, in local village groups, etc. Believe me, once a week of delivering eggs, you can easily make £100 a day, a couple of £100 a day from not the half a day's work effectively. Sell your eggs within sort of 5-10 miles of where you are easily, and get 6-10 pigs, fatten those up, have them slaughtered, processed by the butcher, turned into sausage chops, all that malarkey. Again, Facebook groups, online sales through social media if you manage to get some traction, all sorts of avenues to sell things online now. So basically wherever you are, chickens, pork, you can make money doing that. And then if you've got any other kind of crafting skills, you can make things to sell online in a similar fashion. All in all, as we mentioned in numerous other videos, you will need an income if you're doing this sort of thing. You'll soon run out of money if you have no income, unless you've got an absolute fortune behind you. And it makes things a hell of a lot easier if you have money coming in to be able to improve things, to be able to build more stuff that you need, etc, etc. So yeah, I hope this video sort of explained a bit easier how you go about finding the land and what you're looking for, what to do as a basic plan, really. If it has helped, give me a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, don't forget to do so. Until next time then, bye bye.